This is Ontario PD. Now this is relevant to the psychological torture that I am typing about regarding the demon in Unit 55. She's an unemployed domestic terrorist gang stalking on behalf of this corrupt entity, which Paul Leon, a 20-year terrorist in the city of Ontario, is well aware of, while a fake sun, as I documented, is remaining stationary over this building from, as I documented this morning, engineer light shooting through the peephole. That's not sunlight, nor is sunlight going to be at the same exact building. While, for example, you're seeing a sun in the state of Nevada, you're seeing a sun over you in the state of Florida. The simultaneity of this conduct, first of all, that's not sunlight that you see in the sky space. This is demonic, and that's the outward demonstration of demon possession by, again, Mike Lorenz. These are demons that are practicing witchcraft as the system of gang stalking, which is a system of organized crimes amongst the state. Crossing path is criminal conduct by the population. The whole city is being documented while the demon in Unit 55, acting in concert with the psychological torture tactic by the demons engaged in surveillance in helicopter while I'm typing out text after capturing substantial screenshots, which you will see uploaded to the Google Drive. And as I do so, the demon engaging in the standard tactic of psychological torture engages in, repeats what it is that what it is monitoring regarding what frightens the target individual, what bothers and annoys, terrorizes the target individual, what harasses the target individual. And so, in other words, walking around in your apartment does not cause the ceilings and the walls to crack. I've captured that on video. This is the environment where you're looking at the fake sun that's set over the building all day, and this is the fake moon. This is also where the demon-possessed agency of the Ontario Police captured in over 6 years of documentation of federal group stalking and monitoring using the incredible method of helicopters, speaking to, again, domestic terrorist leaders like Paul Leon, engaged in domestic terrorism in the city with the people, funding domestic terrorism while unemployed gang stalkers of over 55, by the way, in engineer light, which you will see all over the property. You'll see in substantial screenshots. This is what is inspiring a demon engaging in psychological torture on behalf of the state. That's stalking, engaging in surveillance with the state, employing methods, stalking in the path with light activity, because that's what that is. Doing so where you're seeing the evidence of a fake sun sitting, hovering over the building. And while you see the fake sun that's, again, from the morning, migrating, remaining over the same building for the duration of the day, and this is where the fake sun is also setting. This is the removal of any natural environment being capable of being any other place. Now, you're also seeing the fact that there's a wealth of evidence that shows the exact opposite, and that's how you're aware of what is the malicious engagement of a population that's gang stalking, and that's also exposing mental illness that is not removing criminal responsibility. It's exhibiting high-level malice. These are murderous and sexually violent psychopaths, and that is the outward manifestation of demon possession. This is how you have and why you have police officers that are engaged in gang stalking. They are acting with the criminal purpose to commit malicious murder and kidnapping, which is exactly why the Ontario Police Department is going to be disbanded. This is why Paul Leon is going to be removed from office, and everyone under his corrupt leadership is going to be removed. And by the way, this domestic terrorist is not only a demon-possessed gang stalker pastoring at a fake church that's gang stalking in the city of Ontario, Hope Church. They're all gang stalkers. They're all demons. He is interested in quote-unquote chosen people. This is a reference to children of God. This is also manifest in what his position is with regard to the corrupt government, as he sits as mayor for over 20 years, gang stalking believers like myself, engaging in persecution, and then also gang stalking as a fake pastor in the city of Ontario off of BOWMAN. You'll see the entity engaging in that. Now, this is psychological torture using helicopters. While I'm documenting, capturing images, this is what this demon was doing, engaging in what is repeating the conduct as they listen to very damning and unflattering evidence being captured on video, and this is not helping the population. All gang stalking immigrants are going to be deported. All gang stalkers that are, I'm going to get her license plate because she's going to prison. All of these that live right here, 33 through 64, they're all going to prison. And this demon exhibiting high-level mental instability is going to an asylum for what I am documenting, 3:38 p.m. until 4:08 p.m. Understand what I'm documenting. The ordinary target individual has a constitutional right and human right to not be subject to. While the entity is maintaining 24-hour surveillance, which is an exceedingly violent sex offense committed by the state, doing so in remarkable methods such as helicopter to inflict psychological torture, methods of, while you are documenting the pattern of conduct, the demon possessed who engage in seeking to psychologically harm you, amplified audible activity crossing path with that. This is AVANATH that's going to be prosecuted, and they're going to be deported. If this is, and any gang stalking immigrant is going to be deported, and the crossing path, while the entity is not coincidentally, nor is it separate that they're doing so in helicopters. So this is an entity that acts with impunity, disregard for the Constitution, disregard for their presence in this country, and this is again where it's relevant regarding that which those who are not natural born citizens. The demons are flying in circles in helicopter, and it's pointing directly to what the demon is being documented in text in the document entitled WSA-the People. All right. The entity is amplifying helicopter activity, and this is demonic pacing. They're doing so in what is engineered light. That's not sunlight. And the sun would not be rising, as I captured, at 7:18 in the morning, present over this building at 9 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, as I showed you today, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, where sunlight is piercing through the depths of the apartment, through the peephole, appearing, framing the ceiling and the wall behind the door at all hours of the day, both in the dark and during the day while the fake sun is remaining stationary. This is the city where the entity is engaged in massive surveillance and engages in psychological torture with the intent to communicate an impermissible threat. That is speaking to, again, the federal government is going to, they're going to produce the names, in other words, of the entity that's gang stalking, because that's what this is, and helicopter, because they're going to prison, and mental asylum for those that are engaging gang stalking in commercial planes, gang stalking by living at a place of residence, which is a facilitating venue, not a private residence. And what you're looking at is ongoing pacing by demons, getting in their cars, driving on the street on Vine Avenue is pacing, walking into their apartment. That's AVANATH license plate 9ACS305. He's going to federal prison. The adult occupants, where they are also in custody of minor children whom they employ and engaging in the elements of monitoring, doing so on behalf of the corrupt and very heavily, there is no question regarding what the Ontario police are engaging in. You're witnessing again, first of all, it's relevant, the senior citizen, the elderly are engaged in domestic terrorism in the US. They're doing so with the United States government. Remember, the entity is keeping a fake sun, the scientific phenomenon, which I've already captured at Woodside Senior Apartments. I moved to Los Angeles, so then you're juxtaposing that specific environment. That's speaking to intent and malice, and this is impunity. While the entity maintains criminal surveillance in the sky space. That is, if you could see that, the entity is crossing path again by planes. This is what Alan D. WAPNER's Ontario International Airport, which is also going to be shut down, is engaging in. They're using smaller planes right now, but you've seen the Ontario International Airport while the fake sun hovers over this roof, literally over the roof that doesn't set on fire while this fake sun sits idle all day. And the people of the state live in that environment. Gang stalking, engaging in a massive sex offense, monitoring genitalia, monitoring every move, and monitoring what it is that you document on your phone about it. Okay, this is again third-party 5WUV715 that is engaged in the pattern of conduct, engaging in what is crossing a path on behalf of the state, and this is all impunity. This is why the whole property, AVANATH Capital Management, is engaged in profiting off of federal group stalking and monitoring, which is serving the purpose of malicious murder and kidnapping by a corrupt population. It is also exposing what is demon possession, and they are doing so in plain sight. So what I will document in writing while you're looking, demonic pacing, and this is public corruption that is shared by both the entity that is acting directly and vicariously. That's what the Ontario Police Department is engaging in, doing so by helicopter. And the demon possessed show that public safety concern. The public safety is concern is that the entity will sacrifice its own liberty. They will sacrifice themselves, meaning they will put their lives at risk. They'll kill themselves in order to harm the individual. They will sacrifice department governments. They will sacrifice their reputation. They will sacrifice their careers in law enforcement. They will sacrifice their freedom. They will sacrifice their property while they maintain. I want you to see right now what is underway. This is monitoring, stalking in the path with light while the entity flies over by helicopter. They're walking back in opposite directions. These are demons who are pacing, okay? And that's also impunity. While, again, this is what the demon in apartment number 55 is engaging in, and this is the demon in apartment number 56, all going to federal prison. All right, doing so on behalf of what is the Ontario Police Department equals federal prison, and it's also impunity while they do it right in your face. They are all engaged in Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. This is called stalking in the path with light. The entity does so while the entity flies over by helicopter and does so with complete disregard. This is speaking to the mental illness. These are psychopaths. All right, that is again 8FDE449. They're going to federal prison. All the demons in units 33 through 64, everybody in this building who remain while the fake sun remains directly over this building, which is already published on the website. See, this is the POC.wordpress.com. See the YouTube channel of the P.O.C. and you will see the scientific impossibility of not only the fake sun remaining in perfect alignment to my person while I remain inside of this apartment, but you also see the fake moon at night. That's exactly what I documented while the LAPD engaged in gang stalking. This is domestic terrorism and psychological torture by the government, which the corrupt police departments who are engaged in criminal surveillance, relying on the demon-possessed population who engage in the same exact pattern of conduct in a remarkable environment. That which is not possibly the sun, not only because people in an entirely different city, let alone county, but let's take it out of California. When you are in Texas, and you're looking at the sun above you, the entity is keeping a fake sun, necessarily a stationary light source, hovering stationary all day long from the beginning to the end of the day. That is the removal of the mayor. That is the removal of the demon-possessed and corrupt police department engaging in kidnapping and murdering, not law enforcement. And as you see them gang stalking in helicopter, as you see them gang stalking, engaging in the elements of monitoring, light, relevant positioning, and audible activity, as they do so with the intent to psychologically torture, the more that I document this domestic terrorist that is unemployed and is being paid by the state to sit at home and engage in criminal surveillance, as I show the fact that they are demons and all manner of impossible light activity covers this building. The fake sun remains all day, and engineered light remains inside of the apartment. Scientific impossibilities having nothing to do with the natural environment. They're exhibiting a disregard for the constitutional and human rights of another. These are psychopaths fully capable and desiring and willing, as you see, to kill themselves while they seek to murder another. They also intend to profit off of it. This is the system of targeting American citizens, ordinarily referred to as gang stalking. It is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is currently 5:15 p.m. That is not a sunset. That's engineered light. You are being introduced to the spiritual realm, which is regarding what is demonic. It's impossible that the sun is rising and setting at the same location. Okay, it's also impossible that sunlight is reaching underneath a covered patio, reflecting off of that patio, piercing through the window underneath the patio, and appearing inside of Tracy Banks's window while the blinds are closed. You're looking at the body of evidence. This is where an entity is stalking using helicopters. That's the intent to psychologically harm, to obstruct justice, and that's why they're all going to prison. They're doing so while the demon number 55, again, her license is 5WUV 715. She is going to prison, and that is the entity that she's gang stalking on behalf of while they maintain stationary presence. Right now on video, you're looking at them pace back and forth. What they're doing while I'm inside of the apartment is literally hovering over the apartment in helicopter, and the demons on Vine Avenue are pacing, and they're all in engineered light. This is revealing massive demonic activity, and this is what Satan is doing amongst a corrupt society. And I'm in California, so that's what I'm documenting. But the implications regarding the environment that it's occurring in, the behavior that you can, when you're recognizing the pattern of conduct that is criminal and is serving the purpose of murder and kidnapping by a corrupt government that has no probable cause or reasonable suspicion while it's engaged in this malicious system, that's speaking to what is going on in the rest of the states in the United States. It is domestic terrorism, and it is serving for prison for the entity that is, again, under the tutelage of Mike Lorenz. Again, before that, it was Derek Williams, the same exact pattern of conduct, including at the same venue, by the way, where the entity is keeping a fake sun. And then you are aware of what is the malice and what is reasonably deduced. Not only is the mayor a gang stalker, you are aware of what the city is aware of. You're not ignorant about the fact that a sun sits stationary over the building all day long where you live. And you are also acting with impunity while the demon-possessed don't have to speak to you, but you're looking at what is impunity. Any of all the gang stalking immigrants are going to be deported. So I just want to be clear, because this is exhibiting actual hatred for our country, for the Constitution, for the privilege to be here, for the privilege to work and make a living, but it is not to serve the purpose of violating the constitutional rights and human rights of another, which again, if it applies, any gang stalking immigrant, no matter military status, no matter duration of time in this country, it is the immediate revocation for citizenship, and you will be deported. All right, and if you're talking about the city of Ontario is being documented while I remain at one venue, absolutely, based on the nature of the evidence, because the sun is not a stationary object such that it would sit over one apartment building, which is exactly what the evidence shows as I captured it again, January 10, 2025. Okay, and as I document that, as I capture screenshots, which are a means of highly illustrating the significance, the demon in apartment of 55, who is a means of amplified audible activity. This is a demon-possessed person who is aware of my every move. They're all violent sex offenders. They're monitoring my genitalia. They're stalking in the path. Even now, they're standing in engineered light. The sky space is speaking to the malice of the entity and how they're focused on you. And psychopaths like to outwardly demonstrate as though they're doing something else. And this is where they're also living under that specific environment where the fake sun is all day, is where the fake moon is at night. You're not doing anything other than gang stalking. You're witnessing the malice of psychopaths who are seeking to profit as an entity engaged in the system of sacrificing American citizens. It's satanic. It's murder and kidnapping, as it would be referred to under the law. The timing and presence of the audible activity of the Ontario Police Department, an entirely illegitimate agency that is going to be disbanded, is relevant to the intent to psychologically harm, while again the people of the state acting as an entity through the individual that is gang stalking at the facilitating venue of Woodside Senior Apartments inside of apartment 55 is a specific tactic intended to obstruct justice. She and everyone else is going to federal prison. You will see engineered light manifesting in the shade out of nowhere. They are not ignorantly in this environment. They're not ignorantly in this environment while the state stalks in planes and helicopters. They're not ignorantly in this environment while the entity is stalking my movement with noise, stalking my movement with light, stalking my movements as you are. It's evidenced through the entity. The entire state is exposed as a stalker while you capture that scientific phenomenon of that which is not possibly the sun. As a matter of science, as a matter of common sense, as a matter of nature, with regard to what I'm showing, keeping it over me. Remember, at no point ever would West Covina have the sun over the West Covina Police Department, contrary to what I documented, while it remains stationary in alignment to my person at this venue, which is Woodside Senior Apartments in Ontario, California. And so since I am here, this is impunity. They don't have to be outside because everyone that I'm walking by their apartment, they're all crossing paths. This is the purpose of having that specific environment. And it's the malice of an entity that is targeting. It's not a private residential area, or neighborhood or residence or property. It's a facilitating venue. All right, where everything is serving that criminal purpose, and that's also shown in the evidence. Going to federal prison is license plate 9CKS 542, and she is not apart or distinct from the criminal conduct while they're walking around in what is engineered light. This is my shadow that's enlarged in size, and this is the same light activity that you see while the fake sun is shining. It's not a natural environment. So this is speaking to the malice of demons that are gang stalking in the path while they are doing so on behalf of the state that is stalking right now in planes and helicopters. The entity does so with the intent to psychologically harm, harass, terrorize, and offend in order to, in other words, deter the target individual from reporting, documenting, publishing documentation as they are monitoring you. And this is what I'm speaking to. I'm going to zoom into the multiple shadows. Here's my hand here. All right, very faint. And this is the shadow of the gate. That's impossible light activity. And that is not the result of any sort of light. Look, that's not going to be caused by any of that. This is the same light activity as I have shown you, the fake sun right here over me, and I have the same exact light activity during the day. This is where the entity is stalking, not exercising any authority as a legitimate law enforcement agency. As you are understanding and recognizing the malice of an entity that is gang stalking you where they live and gang stalking you with the state, and the state arrives in order to obstruct justice, communicating an unlawful threat that is shared by every single last one of them, irrespective of their age. The demons that are at this venue are all going to federal prison, including the one whose license plate I documented. All right, and with regard to the prosecution of the state, this is supporting the policy regarding domestic terrorism in the United States, deportation regarding all gang stalking immigrants. All right, it is currently, again, 5:21 p.m. This is P.O.C. This is my shadow appearing over here. The people of the state utilize any and everything. The dog barking is audible activity. This is impossible light activity that my shadow would be upright. This is accomplishing monitoring. And as you'll see in the images, the fake sun that remained here after 3 p.m. over the same building, creating light activity bouncing off of 52's window and appearing on the wall, creating the appearance of that one. That's impossible light activity as well. They are all monitoring using any and every means. Anything that you can hear is audible activity in what is abnormal light. In an abnormal environment where a fake sun, not the natural environment, identified clearly in evidence so that you are able to see with your own eyes what is the malice of a corrupt entity engaged in public corruption, gang stalking American citizens. It is the removal of the fire department, the police department, the mayor, and everybody under his corrupt leadership. Paul Leon has been in office, gang stalking for 20 years. The Ontario Police Department engaged in kidnapping and seeking to criminally defame while gang stalking as a matter of documentation since 2018, 2019. The fire department kidnapping, American Medical Response kidnapping, that is speaking to what is removal of these corrupt offices. And also you're talking about removal of the corrupt airport, all right? These are demons that are pacing, parking in the spot, being in the gate, one after another, and you're aware of the impossible light activity. That's the significance of having headlights on in the abnormal environment. And this is maintaining that specific environment where the fake sun is present during the day. So you're understanding their role and maintaining elements, which is what the demon possess. It is currently 5:23 p.m. This is, again, Woodside Senior Apartments, and this is the prosecution of AVANATH Capital Management, who's going to be civilly and criminally prosecuted as well. These are the same actors who are in the morning under the fake sun, engaging in the same conduct with the same police department, the Ontario International Airport with the same population and under the same exact circumstances. This is the maintenance of that environment at nightfall. And it's a massive sex offense while you're subject to it. And that's also what the entity will be prosecuted as: violent sex offenders who are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. It's currently 5:24 p.m. This is P.O.C.